Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Figures from the Attic. So last weekend we went to the Sunrise Comic Con. It's an annual convention down here in South Florida. We go every year, and stick around till the end of this video. I'll show you some of the stuff that I picked up. But this was actually part Comic Con, part wrestling show. The best of both worlds as far as I'm concerned. I'll touch more on that in a moment. Just want to go through some of this footage that I captured. Starting with this main hallway here, you'll see some local artists selling prints of their work, along with actual ink to paper, hand-drawn images. You'll see vendors selling clothing, posters, lots of physical media. We have here VHS tapes, Blu-rays, DVDs, crocheted items, even baked goods. The table here with the balloons had homemade cookies and cupcakes. So if you have a sweet tooth, or if you were there for hours on end like us, she had you covered. Walking farther down this hallway, you'll see an awesome Master Roshi cosplay. This guy right here in the blue pants. He had the bald head, the sunglasses, the goatee. He was just jacked, and he was just hilarious. Definitely a highlight of that afternoon for me. But then making your way into this main hall, you'll see a large comic book section, prominently displayed, just bins and bins of comics, graded and ungraded, any genre that you can think of. So if you're into comic books, they definitely had something for you there. But one of the main reasons that I wanted to come to this event was for booths like this one. In specific, this was run by TE Entertainment. I would say he's a local legend down here in the Florida collecting community, and I always make a point to check out his booth whenever I go to an event like this. He did not disappoint, had a ton of action figures, Mattel, WWE, WCW, AEW, on card and loose. You see the LJNs, the Hasbros, the Jacks, a little bit of everything, which is awesome and I really appreciate. And I actually ended up picking up something from him, and I'll show that off at the end of the video, so stick around for that. But moving on, we'll see some other fandoms that were represented, G.I. Joe, Transformers, and of course you can't have a Comic-Con without Star Wars. Now, for whatever reason, these are fandoms that I never really got into. They just never really grabbed my attention, but it's always nice to look around and see what's available. Everything looked very professional, was displayed very well, and in general, just a really well-run event. The other end of the hall had a lineup of professional cosplayers. You can have a free photo op, which we actually did with Chewbacca, which was fun. There's another hallway with more cosplayers, of course. They had a large selection of minifigs if you're into Legos, some more action figures. And then making our way into this other main hall, this was more of an import type area where they had a lot of like Japanese imported items, items from overseas. They had a lot of like plushies and book bags, a lot of Pokemon stuff as well. So if you're into Pokemon, they had a bunch of loose cards, packs, booster packs, you name it. And making our way down this other corridor here, you'll see a lot of building sets, which I'm noticing are becoming more and more popular again, where you can build like antique cars or Gundam Wing or different anime characters. They had anime statues as well, as you can see there. They had a LARPing area where you can dress up and kind of do like sword play. They had more action figures, of course, Universal Monsters, DC, even Elton John. I had no idea that was even a thing. But that's some of the stuff that I love about going to Comic-Cons, is finding stuff that you've never seen before. Also learning about businesses that I never even knew existed. Like for example, this vendor had a huge display in the back of that hallway, and he has an actual brick and mortar storefront, which I had no idea existed. But after looking at his stuff, especially noticing he had a lot of wrestling figures, I'm going to be checking him out, and he has a new customer. I mentioned before this was part Comic-Con, part wrestling show. They teamed up with our local indie promotion, CCW, Coastal Championship Wrestling. It's actually run by Gangrel, formerly of The Brood and the WWF, with Edge and Christian. I met him, shook his hand, took a picture with him, and bought some stuff off him, which again, I'll show up at the end of this video. But there's really nothing like watching live wrestling, especially from your local promotion. Supporting your local promotion is always very important. They had a pretty good house, with like ringside. They had traditional seating, which was all full. That's where we were. And they had seating on the lawn as well, which is a little more sparse, but the ticket was included with entry to the Comic-Con, so you can't beat that. But as far as what I picked up, I mentioned meeting Gangrel. He sold me his last retro figure, at least the last one he had with him that day. It was a little bit dinged up, so unprompted, he offered to give me a discount, which I gladly accepted. He also autographed it, as you see there. And he threw in a mini micro brawler, which again, unprompted, he just threw that in, and I was very grateful. As far as I'm concerned, he's a legend, banging and banging 24/7. I also mentioned my favorite vendor, TE Entertainment. I went ahead and picked up this Series 1 Titantron Live Triple H from him. I want to say it's the most hilarious head scan of all time. I'm doing a review of this guy on my channel next week, so stick around for that. As always, thank you for watching and stay tuned for more.